Today, the Cow Palace on Route 25A stands where the Tuthill family once lived and farmed the land which they called a rock-level farm. Frances married Samuel Tuthill in 1941, joining the two largest farm families of Rocky Point. Sam traced his family tree to approximately 1723 in Wading River. Their family home still stands just west of the Big Rock on the lower North Country Road, Wading River. His great-grandfather, Sylvester Davis Tuthill, settled in Rocky Point in 1855. The February 5, 1905 issue of the Brooklyn newspaper, The Standard Union, made the following comments about Tuthill's rock-level farm at Rocky Point. About 1855, there came from Wading River a young man, Sylvester Davis Tuthill, who settled on a farm of 30 acres in Rocky Point, bought for him by his father from one of the Hallocks. His little farm grew to be one of the finest properties on Long Island at 600 acres. His flock of 50 Southdown sheep is greatly admired, and he has numerous and valuable farm animals of all kinds. Instead of confining himself to agriculture, he engaged in many kinds of industries and brought new life and activity into the village. He bought much woodland and the right to cut wood from many tracts, cordwood, giving employment to an increasing number of men. Mr. Tuthill acquired interest in vessels which carried to the market the wood he cut. In 1855, there were as many as 50 sloops sailing from ports between Port Jeff and Wading River, where in 1904 there were just a half a dozen. Mr. Tuthill, who was often associated with the Hallocks in business enterprises, was like them, generous in his dealing and encouraged new residents by considerate treatment. On March 6, 1872, Sylvester Davis Tuthill established Rocky Point's first post office, which he operated from his house. Anne Eliza Tuthill, his wife, was appointed postmistress on March 17, 1885, following the death of Sylvester. Sylvester D. Tuthill, his wife, Anne Eliza, and his daughter, Isabel, are buried in the Yaphank Cemetery. Frank H. Tuthill lived in a large and comfortable house off 25A in Rocky Point, which later was known as the home and office of Dr. Rulon. Mr. Frank H. Tuthill served in many capacities. He was a director of a Port Jefferson bank, a stockholder in the Bridgeport Steamboat Company, and the milling company at Port Jefferson, besides other business interests. He served as trustee of the town of Brookhaven. On August 15, 1913, Frank H. Tuthill was appointed postmaster and operated the post office from his home. He added a small building to the east side of the front porch, which served as the post office. Frank H. Tuthill's son, Henry S. Tuthill, took over the managing of the farm around 1912-1915. He was the third generation to run the farm. Henry's son, Samuel, wisely married Frances Hallock, and they moved to St. Louis, Missouri. Although they're gone now, their intertwined stories of Rocky Point's farm families are told at the Hallock Homestead Museum.